Hi everybody, welcome to today's video where we are going to learn how to calculate percentage of amounts. In this video I'm going to show you two methods. The first method is useful without a calculator and the second method is useful with a calculator, but they both work either way, so don't worry about which one you use. Example 1. Find 15% of 120. So first we're going to do this the non-calculator way. First we find 10% of 120. You just divide 120 by 10 and you get 12. Then to find 5%, you divide this by 2 to get 6. To find 15%, you have to add both these values together. So 15% of 120 is 18. Now let's try the same question but with method 2. So here we have to find the percentage multiplier. To do this, you divide the percentage you're finding by 100. So in this case, 15 divided by 100 is 0.15. Then we times 0.15 by 120. We can do this manually and we get 18 if we add the decimal points incorrectly, and therefore 15% of 120 is 18. Pause the video here and try this method out with example 2. So to find 35% of 35, first you have to find 10%. And 10% of 35 is 3.5. So this example is a bit harder because you have to find 35%, but it's simple if you think about it. Now we have 10%, we need to find 30%. So we times 3.5 by 3. So 30% of 35 is 10.5. Then we can half the 10% value to find 5%. So 3.5 divided by 2 is 1.75. And we can add these together to find 35%. And therefore we get 12.25. Now try this again but with method 2, percentage multipliers. So to find the percentage multiplier here, we do 35 divided by 100 to get 0.35. Then we times this by 35. If you do that all manually and add the decimal point in, you get the answer of 12.25 again. Pause the video here and try out these questions. If you finished early, try the challenge. Now you can mark your work. Let me know how you did in the comment section below. Now let's go back to method 1 and do a slightly harder example. Find 43% of 128. So we know how to find 10%. So if we find 10% of 128, we get 12.8. To find 40%, we times this by 4 to get 51.2. But now we need to find 3%. So how to do this? We find 1% of 128. And that's 128 divided by 100 this time, and we get 1.28. And then we can times this by 3 to find 3%. If we add these values together, we can find that 43% of 128 is 55.04. With method 2, this becomes a little more simplified, but it's useful if you have a calculator here. 43 over 100 is 0.43, and that's your percentage multiplier. If you times that by 128, you get 55.04, which is the same answer we got earlier. Pause the video here and try out this question. 78% of 56. So the same method applies. If we find 10% of 56, we get 5.6, and we can times this by 7 to get 39.2. Then we can find 1% of 56, which is 0.56, times this by 8 to get 4.48. So therefore, 78% of 56 is 43.68. And then repeating this with method 2 will be a bit faster. So 78 divided by 100 is 0.78. Times that by 56 and we get 43.68. So here are a bunch of questions for you to try out. They get increasingly difficult as you go along. So pause the video and try as many as you can. The answers will be in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Make sure you like and subscribe, and see you next time.